Meta has released what some people are calling an app that will kill Twitter, Thread. In just 24 hours, 30 million people downloaded the app. Just to put this into context, it took TikTok 9 months to reach 100 million users. ChatGPT and the whole AI revolution only 2 months. And Thread might shatter that record in less than a week. In less than 24 hours of starting this channel, I secured a sponsor that you might find helpful to your everyday lives. Now, don't skip 10 seconds ahead, trust me. You want to hear the sponsor. It's nobody. So what is Threads and why are so many people downloading it, and how sustainable is this platform going to be? Coincidentally, I just finished up a podcast of Lex Fridman interviewing Mark Zuckerberg for nearly 3 hours, and surprise, surprise, the most replayed part was him talking about the upcoming app we now know as Threads. More on that later. Just like Twitter, you can make a post which is called a thread, and people can reply to it. That's it. Now, obviously, Twitter has much more to offer, such as Twitter Spaces and Twitter Communities, which, let's not kid ourselves, not many people are using those features because the core reason of why people are using Twitter is to tweet and openly discuss topics and share the news. You can think of Thread like Instagram, but reversed. You see, on Instagram, you post an image or video and then optionally write text below it. But on Thread, you write your text first and optionally put an image or video below it. How innovative. On the surface, Thread is basically like Twitter, except it has that look and feel as if it was Instagram. If you were to open them up side by side, the bottom taskbar is nearly identical. You have a home button, a search button, a create button, and an account page. The only difference is the activity button on Threads and, hate to say it, video reels on Instagram. Even the heart icon and the reply icons are lifted from Instagram. The app right now is really bare bones. Like, it feels as if Twitter came out in 2006 in our day and age. I'd argue it feels like Facebook when it first released because you just follow other people and make a post. Now that I think about it, is this Meta's attempt to just revive Facebook for a new generation? Maybe something to think about.
I have to ask, there's rumors you might be working on a social network that's text-based. That might be a competitor to Twitter, codenamed P92. Is there something you could say about those rumors?
There is a project. I've always thought that sort of a text-based kind of information utility is just a really important thing to society. And for whatever reason, I feel like Twitter has not lived up to what I would have thought its full potential should be.
Currently, there is no website for Threads, so you have to download the app. Images and videos look weird because they are on the far left side, and the app isn't even available in the EU as of now due to privacy laws, which is kind of strange. But what's even more strange is the amount of data Threads is pulling from you in order to give Meta, the parent company, more data to work with across all of its apps, which actually isn't too weird because it's Meta.
So what's the the launch date of that again? Or and what's the official website? And
well, we don't have that yet.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
all
right.
And look, I mean, I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. I mean, what I can say is, yeah, there's some people working on this, right? I think that there's something there that's interesting to explore.
Do this with me, not that. But go see for yourself. Open up your app store, search Thread, and scroll to the section about data, and I guarantee you this is the only app on your phone in terms of a social media app that requires this much data from you. In fact, on the iOS App Store, there isn't even a section called Data Not Linked to You, a common section for most applications. It's just insane the amount of data is needed for an app that is quite literally just text and videos between two people. So what's the real end goal here, Zuck? You see, with Meta owning Instagram and trying to have a bridge, or I should say, a thread between the two apps, you can't delete your Thread account if you create it through Instagram. Because in Thread's supplemental privacy policy, which the EU kindly read to themselves, that millions of Instagram and Twitter users are flocking towards, it clearly states in the second paragraph, you may deactivate your Threads account at any time, or I should say profile, but your Threads profile can only be deleted by deleting your Instagram account. Huh, I thought I downloaded Threads, not Instagram. It seems the EU isn't buying into the hype of Threads since they can actually read the fine print. I don't know if that's the case here in the US. So then why is there such a huge surge of traffic going towards Threads? Well, Twitter isn't really Twitter, if you know what I mean. I made an account back in 2013, and the internet was a much different place than what it was today. Ironically, it's my 10-year anniversary on Twitter. Twitter has been on a downward spiral, and not only the platform itself, but the users too. And I know Elon fans are going to tell me, but users are up. Twitter is at an all-time high. But I'd argue the quality of the user base is much worse than what it was years ago. Twitter is a platform where users exchange in Discord with one another, and users and what they post make the platform. Even when scrolling through Twitter now, there is a promoted tweet what seems to be every 5 tweets, and sponsored tweets when you're reading through replies. Users are getting blocked from the app temporarily just from scrolling throughout the day, and there are times when I go on Twitter, see a trending hashtag, just to find posts of naked people, and it's basically Pornhub having sex and promoting their OnlyFans account. I thought this app was for 13 plus, not 18 plus. The whole validity of verification has gone out the window since anyone can be verified if you pay enough money. Bots plague the platform, so it begs the question how many actual people are on Twitter, and you can see how Threads has capitalized on this and the unfavored experience users are having on Twitter. And as years have gone on, I use Twitter less and less, to the point where I just post my YouTube video once in a blue moon and leave. And with Reddit having its own debacle with its threads, privating themselves in protest of the API changes, Meta and Threads had a perfect timing in the release of this, and with the huge user base of Instagram being nearly 2.5 billion, I wouldn't be shocked if Threads hits 1 billion and passes Twitter in users by the end of the year, if not faster. From my experience using the app so far, it just seems a bit premature, just comparing the amount of setting choices I have to Instagram or even another app like Facebook. It's as if the app wasn't ready yet, but Meta was like, let's just capitalize on this opportunity and build out the features later. But people seem to be liking the app so far, and people are saying it's a breath of fresh air. And I've got to say, no matter where Wendy's goes, they will always be savages on a social media platform. My favorite thread so far by Dbrand being, go zuck yourself. But my question in all this is, how sustainable is this? Sure, we have another social media app without too many rules or ads. Zuckerberg even said in the podcast that this is going to be pretty clean until we hit 1 billion users, which once again doesn't seem that far away. Users are what made Twitter a toxic yet fun place to go. It's where trends live and die. It's where people openly disagree for the sake of disagreeing, and it's where some people just have really dumb takes, like myself. But Zuck, I listened to that 3-hour podcast. You said it yourself when growing a social media platform. You get to a point where you have so many users in the billions that some level of censorship and moderation has to occur. So when are we going to get to that tipping point with Threads? At the end of the day, Threads can actually be a good thing. Twitter has had no real competition, and Threads is a viable competitor to them. And now Twitter is threatening legal action to sue Threads, which is strange because I could have sworn there are far more Twitter clones that haven't gotten sued yet. It just seems like Elon is a bit salty from a potential max exodus of Twitter. Twitter right now is in turmoil, and Threads is attempting to swoop in and be the savior for us.
I always thought that, Twitter should have 1 billion people using it, or whatever the thing is that that basically ends up being in that space. And for whatever combination of reasons, again, these companies are complex organisms, and it's very hard to diagnose this stuff from the outside.
Whether or not Twitter dies, to be completely honest, I could care less. But what I do care about is having someone to put Twitter in check and realize if you don't treat your users right, they will lead to a lesser evil. Competition is always a good thing, and us as consumers are always going to benefit from 2 rich companies trying to abuse our data. How wonderful. It all sounds nice when the mission of Meta is to connect people in various ways, Threads being a text-based social media app. But I have one question for you, Zuck. Bring the camera closer. Why do you need all my data? Because let's put ads to the side, because there aren't even ads on the platform yet. And I'll ask again, why do you need all my data? Let's not forget the Facebook and Cambridge Analytica scandal. And your greatest point, I would say, in that entire podcast was running an experiment on a decentralized social media platform.
One of the interesting experiments that I think should get run at larger scale is what happens if there's somewhat more decentralized control. And if it's like the stack is more open throughout. And I've just been pretty fascinated by that and seeing how that works.
But after lifting the curtains a little bit and looking at the previous track records of your platforms, this is just another move for Meta to attempt to monopolize another social media category, this one being text-based once again. Hopefully I'm wrong here, but in the grand scheme of things, it just seems like we're in a plateau of social media apps where these big companies are just putting each other's features into their own app. And this just seems like a spiffy new Facebook with Instagram's look on top. Let me know how you guys feel about this and the whole thing. For one, I'm probably just going to laugh every time Wendy's puts out a post. Matter of fact, I'll probably get a 4 and 4 after this video. Appreciate every single sub, like, and comment if you made it to the end of the video. I do have a Threads account. Don't know if I'm ever gonna post on there because I rarely post on any other social media other than YouTube. But if you do, highly appreciate it. As always, guys, much love. By the way, we just crossed 10,000 subs in a month. It's crazy. Appreciate it, guys. Much love. Meta has released an app. In just 24 hours, 30 million. It's million, not million. So the app. I hate doing videos at like 8 in the morning because I'm still waking up. Images and videos look weird because they're on the far left side. Well, this is their right side and this is your left side. So you need to go this way. When you're talking, you gotta move your hands, but you don't wanna move your hands too much because then your hands just become a distraction, you know what I mean? Trying to have a thread, okay, you gotta snap a little bit better when you say thread, you know what I mean? Like thread. That's such a bad delivery, like why would I do that? Graham, and having wait, should I do thread and then snap or do I do thread, snap? Snap, thread? You see a thread, ironically, it's my 10-year anniversary on Twitter. With one another, say it with me again, with another. And to put matters into perspective, that doesn't even make any sense. Matters in perspective, it's matters into my own hands, but I meant to say something about perspective. This is